share a little pet peeve of mine? I see pictures on Instagram of these big, tall, stretched out plants. Long stems, huge gaps between leaves, long vines, and there's so many comments out there that say, wow, so healthy, yay, good job. And I look at that and I go, it's screaming for help. It's stretched way too much and everyone's telling this person that that plant is thriving. If your plant looks like this, trust me when I say she's trying to tell you something. Okay, so I like to talk to plants, I'll admit, like quite a lot, maybe even a concerning amount. I even bought these like little magnet eyes from Amazon just to stick on the leaves, but that's another story for another day. So when you talk to your plants as much as I do, after a while, actually, you start noticing that they're talking back to you. And then once you start knowing what to look for, everything makes a lot of sense. So today I'm going to be showing you 5 plants that literally tell you what they need, when to water, when they're too hot, even when they're desperate for light. And stick around because at the end I'll show you how to use this information to suit your own unique conditions. Plus, there's a little something I'm working on that I think you're going to want to know about. So let me show you what I mean, starting with the most dramatic plant in my entire collection, probably yours too, the drama queen herself, my peace lily. There's one here too. In fact, I actually have several around the house now after some recent propagations. And I can tell you, these plants will fully collapse when they need water, like throw themselves fainting on a couch of drama type thing, like proper Bridgerton swooning moment almost every time. But here's the tricky bit. Peace lilies droop for 2 different reasons. If it's drooping from underwatering, she's just thirsty. She'll bounce back in no time within hours of watering. This is dramatic, of course, but it is fairly easy to fix. Drooping from overwatering, however, is a lot worse. The roots may be rotting. This is more of a serious kind, and that's actually way harder to save. To know the difference, honestly, the soil will tell you all you need to know. So just check the soil first. If it's wet, obviously, then it's overwatered. If it's dry, then it's thirsty. That makes sense, right? Now, you may know that, but here's what I actually do with this. The droopiness in the leaves, I actually use that to give me a sign that my peace lily needs water. I don't water on a schedule anymore. I wait for her to start drooping. And then when the leaves get a little bit droopy, I water. That way, I never, ever, ever overwater her. I found that peace lilies can handle a little bit of stress from underwatering. They're kind of built for drama, as you know, and they bounce back fast. That's the beauty of this dramatic plant. I love it, actually. And just to say, if you are worried about overwatering, because I know that's a thing that stresses a lot of us out, I have a free cheat sheet for that. So I'll leave a link below in the show notes. It'll just help you understand what to look for if you need it. So grab it in the show notes if you'd like. But if you do have a droopy peace lily, just know that that's actually her being her dramatic self and she's telling you she needs help. But the dramatic leaves, I think, is actually one of the best things about this plant. I can read her like a book now, like a Bridgerton book, I guess. Now, if you think that's dramatic, wait until you see the plant that has full personality changes throughout the day. She's actually one of my favorites, but we'll get to her in a second. First though, remember the long stretchy plants from the beginning, right at the beginning when I mentioned? Let me show you what's actually happening there. So remember at the beginning, those plants with long stems and big gaps that everybody's celebrating on Instagram? This is what's actually going on in that instance. Firstly, don't get me wrong, your plant is growing, right? So that's actually a good piece of news. It means she's healthy enough to grow. But if you don't know what that signal really means, there is something else she's trying to tell you. So if we haven't met before, I have like 42 different types of philodendrons in my house. There's one, they're everywhere, right? I might have a problem, yes, but it does mean that I know what a happy philodendron looks like versus one that's working overtime or trying to say something different. So I want you to have a look at the gaps between these leaves or between these nodes. See how spaced out they are? This plant is growing, that's the good news, but she's also stretching for more light. They look really stretched between the leaves. So she's growing and working really hard at the same time. And the bigger the gap between those nodes where the leaves usually come out, the more she's telling you, I'm stretching as far as I can to get to a light source. She might be bending, she might be going straight up to the ceiling, but they're trying to stretch to a light source. If the gaps are really small on your plant and your plant is nice and compact, she's getting what she needs and she's not having to work as hard. If you're not sure what I mean by the difference between the nodes, you can just see it in how full the plant looks. Lots of leaves along the vine, happy, fantastic, right? Long vine with just a few sad leaves here and there. Well, she's struggling, she needs help. And here's the thing, you can see this on almost any viling or training plant, right? Pothos, other philodendrons, even string of hearts. I'm just using a philodendron because it's the easiest to see on, because the nodes are super visible on philodendrons and the stems are pretty thick. So if your plant is stretching for the ceiling or trying to stretch towards a light, if it's starting to go up and bending a little, honestly, just get her closer to that light source. Get her closer to the window if she's bending towards the light, or just buy her a grow light, because she's literally telling you, I'm reaching for more light and I'm getting a bit exhausted. You want your spaces between the nodes to be more compact so your plant can be bushy and healthy and really, really happy. So that signal is obvious once you know what you're actually looking for. The next one though is actually a lot more subtle. You have to touch the plant to even see or hear what it's saying, and most people have no idea this signal even exists. Okay, let's talk about Hoyas. It took me a while to get into Hoyas, but now I absolutely love them because they're actually a lot more low-key than I ever thought they were. So they do like humidity, but not as much as you'd think. And I actually water them a little bit less than most of my other plants because that's actually what they seem to prefer. So I wait till the soil goes down to like 80–90% almost. But Hoyas have this really clever signal. So the leaves in a Hoya store water. I mean, leaves on all plants do, but Hoyas are pretty spectacular. They're like little water balloons almost attached to the plant. They hold a lot of water. And when the leaf starts getting flexible and bendy and even a little bit wrinkled, that's actually telling you something that you might not even know. So it's called the 𝐡𝐞𝐞𝐿 test. Now, I got that name from Plants with Crystal. I love her channel, by the way. But it's just easy to remember because you know what a 𝐡𝐞𝐿 is shaped like. So basically, if you can bend one of the leaves on your Hoya and it bends pretty easily, not much squeezing, but it bends a little bit like a 𝐡𝐞𝐿, see that? That's actually telling me that I need to water it soon. But if the leaf, when you squeeze it, is thick and plump and juicy, and it actually takes effort to try and bend it quite a little bit with your fingers, that means she's good, she's happy, she's full of water, she doesn't need you to water yet. So that's the quick tip for Hoyas. Pretty easy, huh? I think that's an amazing test, very simple, and I love them that they're pretty low-key about their needs, which I think is actually really cool. This next plant though, the one I said was my favorite, this is the opposite end of the spectrum. Remember when I said peace lilies were drama queens though? I lied. Sorry. Calatheas are actually the drama queens, and peace lilies compared are probably just enthusiastic, I would say. People say Calatheas or Calatheas. Somebody tell me the right name to say that, but I say Calatheas, so bear with me. Anyway, people say Calatheas are fussy. They're high maintenance and they're difficult, and yes, they're real drama queens. And you could say that, or you could say they're just really, really talkative, like all the time about everything. So Calatheas will tell you about every single thing that's happening. The leaves go floppy, they curl, they change color, they drop. All of this means something specific when you see a Calathea doing almost anything, right? During the day, the leaves are flat and open like this, and at night they curl up and move upwards. It's called a prayer dance. It's why they're called prayer plants, because the leaves move and then go up into a prayer. They literally move with the light. Now, if your Calathea isn't doing that prayer movement at night, that's actually a signal that something's wrong. It could be not enough light, it could be root issues, could be several things, but that's your first clue to investigate your plant and see if you can figure out why your plant isn't going up at night. But if the leaves are curling weird, that's actually a different signal, and that's telling you something a little bit more specific. And this is what I love about Calatheas actually. When I figured this out, I thought there was a little bit of a secret to it, which I really liked. You need to watch for two types of curling with Calatheas. So if the leaves are curling upwards and inwards towards the center like this, it means humidity is too low, or it's too hot, or probably a little bit of both. If you put it into a really hot spot on a hot day, you'll notice that instantly almost the leaves will curl in, and it's telling you it's not happy in that situation. The leaf is literally trying to protect itself from losing water. It's telling you something like, it's too dry out here, I need to curl up and save what I've got. I can't lose any more water from this heat. It's pretty smart actually, I really like it. Now, curling downwards away from the center, that's more of a problem again. Something bigger is wrong, right? Could be overwatering, could be not enough light, or a little bit of both, I would say. Could even be pests. But again, if the leaves are curling out and down, that's my first move to check the roots or check for bugs. For me, it's usually one of the two. So in my eyes, you could say they're not difficult, they're just really, really chatty. And as a bonus, here's something I learned along the way. If you can understand where your plant comes from, like its origins, its actual origins, what it needs in the wild, you're already 50% of the way to understanding what it's telling you. So when it comes to our unique situations, my peace lily She'll droop when she's thirsty in my home and in my conditions. And those days between when I water her next will be different to yours. Yours might droop too, but on a different timeline. So the signal is the same, but the timing is specific to you and your home. So that's why you've got to learn what your plants are saying in your unique space. Not what the internet says, not what worked for somebody else, what your actual plants are showing you right now. And for that unique reason, that's actually why I built this custom GPT I've been talking about. It's currently called My Plant Buddy. It might be renamed by the time you watch this video. But the whole point of this GPT is you tell it about your plant, your space, your home conditions, and it helps you understand what your specific plant needs. It gives you a whole care plan specific to you and your plant and your home, because generic advice only gets you so far. It helps, but you need your unique situation. So there's more in the show notes below if you want to check it out. It's up to you. But I did say 5 plants, so let's just talk about this one final plant. But this last plant, she doesn't just tell you when something's wrong, she gives you a full report card with every single leaf. And I've got some examples, so let me grab them. The beloved Monstera. This is a Monstera tie that I have. There's a brand new leaf. It's just off of screen. There we go. It's a brand new leaf. Anyway, these girls honestly almost changed how I look at all of my plants once I started learning to read the leaves. Monsteras, they're absolutely beautiful plants, and they actually tell you everything you need to know almost through their leaves. So these gaps here, they're fenestrations, right? So they're basically almost like a progress report with your plant as your plant grows. So if you've got leaves getting bigger, you're getting more and more splits, then A+, she's thriving, you're nailing it, you're doing very, very well. That plant is super happy. But if you've got something more like this, see this leaf here? There's fenestrations that side, but there's no fenestrations that side. So if you've got leaves a little bit more like this, or the leaves aren't getting bigger as it grows up, or they've got no splits or fewer splits, she needs something more. It's usually more light or something to climb, but ultimately, again, this girl is telling you that she needs something else. She's talking to you and telling you through her leaves. The 2 type plants I've just shown you, they're pretty much the same size in terms of width and height and the same amount of leaves, but one's got a better moss pole to climb on. She's actually, you can see the roots going through the moss pole, whereas the other one, unfortunately, I did a bit of a test on this weird moss pole. I didn't like it, didn't work. And you can see that in the leaves. The plant isn't the happiest she could be because she's not really climbing anything. I need to give her something else to climb on, a better moss pole in my case. So for me, when I see no fenestrations or the fenestrations aren't coming up on both sides with about 5 or 6 leaves, then that's a real signal to me. It's her report card saying to me, I need something to climb or I need more light. For me, it's usually a bit of both. Because here's the thing, Monsteras want to climb towards the light. That's what they do in the wild. They're plants that start at the ground, they find another tree or something, and then they'll climb up the trunk and they'll literally vine up all the way to the top, up to the canopy. And they reach the sun through the canopy. So fenestrations usually are really a good signal for it needing more light. The climbing is how she gets there. They're obviously connected that way. Every new leaf she puts out is basically her saying to you, here's how I'm doing with what you're giving me. It's like getting a report card every few weeks when a new leaf comes out. So I'm pretty much getting an A+ for the first one, maybe a B, B- for the second, but we'll fix that. And look, I know that these 5 plants don't cover everything. Obviously, it's only 5 plants, right? But that's actually why I'm working on a full course that'll be launching sometime in 2026. Understanding what your plants are telling you and how to save them when something goes wrong. The link will be in the show notes below if you want to explore this more, but these 5 plants will get you started. So what do you actually do with all of this information? My advice to you is if you want to get to know your plants, just pick one plant, not all of them, just pick one. Maybe it's your easiest communicator. Maybe it's your peace lily, maybe a philodendron, one that you actually really want to take notice of and look at almost every day. And for 1 week, just watch it. Not obsessively. I mean, you can if you want, but just notice what the plant is doing. How do the leaves look in the morning versus the evening? What position are they in versus the window or the ceiling or other plants? How your plant reacts to your watering schedule, that type of thing. You're not trying to fix anything in that week. You're just trying to learn what normal looks like for your plant in your home. And then Once you know what happy looks like for that plant, you'll then immediately start to notice things when something changes. And then you can respond to what it actually needs instead of just guessing your way through. And honestly, after you do this with one plant, you'll start seeing signals everywhere. Your Monstera pointing down, your pothos leaves are curling upwards or downwards, your Calathea prayer plant is dancing a night, or it's not, I don't know, right? The real skill here is learning to observe your plants to see what they're actually doing instead of what you think they should be doing. I just want you to realize that your plants have been talking to you this whole time, I promise you. So now you know some of the signals plants give you when they're communicating clearly. But what about when you're seeing yellow leaves, brown tips, weird spots? Nothing seems to match what we talked about already. Well, I also have another video that you're going to go to next, and it's all about common plant problems. What causes these yellow leaves and brown tips? All of that. I'm going to link that video right here so you can go and watch that one right next. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Again, as always, bringing you leaves, love and laughter, and I will see you in this video right here. See you later, guys. Bye.